And I can tell you this, we cannot take the spots out. We cannot press the wrinkles out. What I'm saying to you, you can't be good enough. You can't do enough church. You can't do enough praying. You can't do enough reading. You can't do enough singing. You can't do enough preaching. You can't do enough sitting to be ready to meet Jesus when he comes. Somebody must say, well, Pastor Blake, how can I get ready? Bible says this in Ephesians chapter 2, verses 8 and 9. It says, for by grace you have been saved through faith, and that not of yourself. It is the gift of God, not by works, lest any man should boast. Okay, so according to those verses, it tells us how we are saved. We're saved by grace through faith. And that not of yourselves. In other words, what does he mean by that not of yourselves? Well, both of them. Grace is not of you and faith is not of you. And some people think that you just need to muster up enough faith to get saved. Some people believe that you just need to muster up some. You cannot muster up faith. Faith comes from God and he bestows it on us. Jesus had been ministering and he was on his way to Caesarea Philippi. So he asked his boys this question. He said, hey, fellas, he said, what the people saying about me? What the people saying? And they said to him, the people are saying, Jesus, that you Elijah. They saying you John the Baptist come back from the dead. They say you Jeremiah. They say you one of them prophets. He said, okay, that's what the people say. That's wonderful. Those are all great men that you named. But greater than Solomon is here. He says, now what do you all, who do y'all say? What are y'all saying about me? Who do y'all say that I am? Peter, the spokesman of the apostles, said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now let me explain something, because everybody don't know what terms mean, and I'm not trying to belittle no one. I just want to make sure you understand. When he said, thou art the Christ, Peter was saying, the word Christ means the anointed one. It also means Messiah. You are the Messiah, okay? You are God's Messiah. You are God's anointed one. That's what Peter said when he said, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. Now, so he says this, and Jesus says, Peter, Peter, Peter. He says, Peter, flesh and blood has not revealed this to you. Now, when he said flesh and blood, what he's talking about is, Peter, you did not come upon this knowledge of who I am because of you studying at Hebrew University or reading some commentary or reading the Torah. Peter, you did not come to this glorious knowledge by any effort of your own. Y'all with me? Then he told Peter, he says, Peter, the only reason why you know who I am is because my Father, who sits in heaven, has tapped you on the shoulder, Peter, and said, Peter, this is who he is. Now, y'all stay here. Y'all stay right here. Stay in the boat right here. If you know who he is, if you believe in Jesus, it's because the God in heaven decided one day to touch you and say, I want you to know who my son is. Guys, I'm telling you, that what I just said to you is what separates Christians from churchgoers. See, a Christian knows that he knows that he knows. A churchgoer is going through the motions. Let me say something here because I don't get nobody confuse nobody. You got to want to know him. If you want to know him, is a great sign that he's touching you on the shoulder. You see, if there's no desire in your heart to live and know Jesus, God may not be touching you on the shoulder. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If there's no desire within your being to be what God wants you to be, He's probably not drawing you. He says, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Now, keep it up there. Look what he says. He says, no one. That means everybody up in here. The word come to me can also be translated believe in me. So no one can believe in me unless the Father who sent me draws him to me. All right. Based on that verse, what conclusion can we make? Is everybody being saved? The answer is no. If the text just said you can't come to him unless the Father draw you, and then we know everybody ain't being saved. Come to him means believe in him. If everybody ain't getting saved and you can only come if he draw you, then he must not be drawing everybody. I'm just trying to make this plain to you because, see, we sit back and we say, well, God wouldn't do that. That's the only conclusion that we can make. Now, I know that don't sit well with a lot of people. But Isaiah 55 said, my ways are not your ways. My thoughts are not your thoughts. As high as the heaven is from the earth, so are my ways and thoughts from your ways and thoughts. Well, God wouldn't do that. When have you ever sat down at the conference table with God and he told you what he would and would not do? Because watch this. If we was in the conference room with God when he sent Israel to the promised land and told them to wipe out the children, the wives, the husband, the alligator, everything in the land, how many of us would have objected and said, I object? But God didn't ask us for our approval on the way he does things. All God asks us to do is to have faith and trust that he's doing what's right because he's a holy God. He's a holy God.